What's up, everybody? Patrick here from WP Builder Helper, and in today's video we're going to talk Brizy 2.0. It's finally here. We finally have the fully fleshed out theme builder. We've got a mega menu, we've got Brizy Sync, we've got Lottie, tables, elements, and more. There's just so much that they added into this. It brings Brizy to a complete different level than it's been for a long time, and it's good to see that it's finally hit it. So if you're one of those people who's maybe sitting on the fence, this may be the thing that finally pushes you over. So we're going to kind of go through this. I'm going to walk you through it, and we're going to kind of talk through it and go through it and see what's what and how I feel about it and what you think you should look for and those type of things. So let's get started. Alright, so we're back. So let's take a look at what they've added. So clicking any of these links obviously takes you, and I've actually got a project set up here, and I'm going to talk about Brizy Cloud for a second later on down the line, but let's talk about what they've added. So one of the first things that they've added that's probably the most important thing is the global block conditions. If you didn't know before, if you had a Brizy project that you were using, like let's see, this is my local Brizy project. If you wanted to add a header, you had to go in and you had to do this wonky type thing where you would go in and you would like make a block. So let's say we make a block. Let's make our own block. And let's move this block all the way to the top. You can see I've got some of the new elements that they have, and we'll go through those. But if you wanted to make your own header, and let's say you wanted to add a logo and all that to it, so you would go in and you would add 2 columns. So now you know you'd go in and you'd add an image to one, so this would be your logo, and then you'd add like a WordPress menu and here for the other one, right? But the issue was that when you went to go save it, you would have to save it as basically like a global block. So you would go in here and you would have it make a global, and then it would be a global block, and then in order to change it, you'd have to go into the global block, and you could make changes to it, and it would make changes to it across your whole entire site. Now you kind of no longer have that. You don't even have to worry about that. You can actually go into your header builders, and you can go into your builder itself, and you can make something. You can turn it into a header just by having it. Like, you can actually have a header. So let's wipe this. Let's get rid of this, and let's go in and add a header to this. So we can go to one of their custom built headers. Let's just grab this one. It's obviously in the wrong position again, and let's move it back up to the top. So now we've got this header, and it's at the top, and you can see it's got this little menu right here, and it's got make sticky global. But what you'll notice is that after you save it, you're going to see there is an area. Let's click out of that. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go into the header, and you actually want to make it global. So you're still making it global just like you did before. But the difference is that once you make it global, you'll have these display conditions. This is where it changes the game. These display conditions will allow you to put it all through the pages in your site, and then obviously if you wanted to add it to the post, you can add it to the post. And when you do all of that and you save it, now all of a sudden any page that has been done with Brizy will have this link to the very top of your page, and it's a sticky, so it follows you down as you go down and all of that. So it keeps all of the same basic parts that you want, but the issue is, rather than using it as like a global template where you have to go in and you have to edit it globally, you can edit it on any of the pages, and it kind of makes the change and does all of that. So that's kind of cool. That's a neat thing that they've added. I think it was very needed. It's been needed for quite some time. I've said since the beginning, if you're basically doing a page builder right now in today's time, then you're at a disadvantage if you're not using a full theme builder, I should say. You're going to be at a huge disadvantage because WordPress right now is just making leaps and bounds to make WordPress easier for everybody. And I think that full theme building is something that they're going to have eventually with Gutenberg and things like that. So it's awesome to see that they've added this in. This really allows you to go in and really customize your theme to where you want it. And they've even got 404 maintenance login pages, you know, search pages, and so just so much more that you can go in and you can add and you can play with this. You've even got excluding pages so that you can make, if you wanted to, you could add a header on one page and maybe a different header on another page. So for some of those headers that maybe you want something that's got like a background to it at the very front, and then it's see-through and you can kind of see your logo, and then on the next page it's got more of a traditional header, you could take and you could do that. That's really easy to do with Brizy with the exclude option with those display conditions. Alright, so the next thing that they've added is Brizy Sync. Now, one of the reasons why I'm talking about this is very, very useful. If you're one of the people who has not seen Brizy Cloud, then you will find that Brizy Cloud has quite a few different things that it can do. It's kind of a unique build. It's not WordPress. It's something completely different, and if you've never played with it, it's got its own, you know, it's got its own, you have to pay a price for it. But basically it allows you to take and go in and create websites. You can link them to certain domains or whatever. See, so this is a Brizy Cloud project. Let's go to our dashboard and I'll show you. So you can have as many projects as you want. You can invite team members and things like that. But then when you go to publish them, a lot of these projects will have, you know, you can use custom domains, subdomains, everything like that. So why am I telling you this? Part of the reason why I'm telling you this is because in a project, let's say, so building this, for instance, because I'm somebody who's been using Brizy for quite some time, I have access to Brizy Cloud. They give you like 2 years for free when you sign up, which is kind of cool. And so you have a date when it's going to run out and everything, but you can use it. Well, the great thing about this is, let's say I like this layout, but I want it on WordPress. Maybe I'm not interested in the whole Brizy Cloud thing. I just want to build, like, almost use it as staging, essentially. So you can kind of do that already. Brizy's added this cool new feature where you can do save layout, and you literally just click save layout, and what'll happen is your layout will be saved into their back-end system, which is part of the cloud, and you can see right there that it's saved. And if I go into the cloud, so let's go to add new block, and you go to saved, you'll see you have layouts. And from here, you can choose any one of the layouts that you've already saved, and you saw it loaded up pretty quickly. And if I just click this, it'll take and it'll add that whole entire layout to a blank page. So you could take and develop pages in Brizy Cloud and then move them over to WordPress, or develop them in WordPress and move them over to Brizy Cloud, however you want to do it. But it's really cool that you have like this unique block setup that'll follow you. And I think that that's one of the best things about Brizy Cloud. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things that really makes them stand out. The fact that they're allowing this to happen and that you can use the cloud and WordPress at the same time is just really, really neat. And it's something that's really, really unique to Brizy Cloud. I haven't seen another builder do it. Not sure if another builder will ever do it, because this whole entire thing is just so unique to Brizy Cloud. So, you know, like I said, you can take and you can start a project in here and then take and move it to something else. I mean, it's just really, really neat the way that they did it. So that's the Brizy Sync. And the reason why I'm showing you, if you're wondering, on my end, I'm having an issue with my login. They're currently working on it, but it wasn't working for me. So unfortunately, I can't show you this on my end, but normally you could log into WordPress and you can put in your password and everything, and then you can take it for a spin and literally go through all the different things that they're showing you. So you could take your login, your layout, and you could import it into WordPress, and it works fine and everything works perfectly. So they've also added Mega Menu. Mega Menu has been something that people have been asking for a long time, and I actually set one up. So if we go into here, I can actually probably get rid of this. No, I don't think I can, because these are just regular links. So when you add a menu, this is just a regular link. So as you can see, they're just regular links. They don't link to anything. But if you want to make something that's special, you can click on one of the links and you get this option to make a mega menu. And there's just some really, really cool stuff you can do with this. I mean, look at this. I've got an icon here, I've got a form element here, I've got a video here. You can just do so much with this mega menu. So if you're somebody who maybe, they were looking for something where you can take and you can build your own mega menu, and it's so simple. I mean, you literally go here, click mega menu, it gives you a little thing, a pop-out, like a little pop-out that you can customize however you want to. If you want to do a gradient, let's do a gradient. Let's do a green gradient. Let's add in some colors to it just to make it, pop out, stand out a little bit more. You can change the direction of the gradient and all of that. That's all basic, simple stuff. But the cool thing is you can drop anything in this you want. If you want to drop a menu, you can drop a menu. If you want to drop a counter into this, you could drop a counter that has some numbers in it. I mean, there's literally nothing that you can't do with this, which is just very, very unique. And guess what? It's tied to that link. Boom, there's your counter, and it just comes up. It's just something that, a lot of builders have trouble with, because a lot of builders, you have to use third-party plugins in order to get a mega menu. So it's neat that Brizy has basically allowed us to have mega menus with these things, and it just opens up the possibility. It's so very cool that they've added that. So one less plugin that you need. So let's keep going. The Lottie elements. So Lotties are a very strange thing. It took some researching. I've been using them, but you have to go to this website here, Lottie Files, and you've got to basically sign up to it. But what you can do is you can find some animations of different things that you maybe want, and then you basically copy that animation to your website, and it just kind of shows you. So say that somebody wanted this animation. You could take and you could download it, you could convert it to GIF, but you can also do a bunch of, they should have a link. These might be animations that you can't. Let me go to popular. Let me see, because the popular ones are ones you can usually copy. They usually have a link. Maybe you got to log in to get the link, and that might be the one thing. But usually, the way it works in Brizy Cloud is, if you have a Lottie element like this element, you would just go here, and all you do is just literally copy the link. And you paste it over, and it's got autoplay loop. You could reverse it if you want, if you don't like the direction they go in. You can also up the speed. You can also up the size. They scale very well, so they can be very small, they can be very big, because they're basically like animated SVGs, essentially. That's what they are. And so it gives you just another element of animation to a website that may be very static, maybe needs a little bit more oomph to it. If done right, you can use these very systematically to take and kind of show your customers, okay, here's what we do. There's different things in here, and there's tons of animations that you can use. Some of them you do have to pay for, and obviously you're going to want to take and support developers, because that's what they should do. I mean, they're spending their money to do this. But some of these animations look very, very good. I mean, this, $8 for this investment thing, it looks awesome. The fact that they've done this, it just looks really high end. And if you go to a website and you see something like this, it's just something that's going to spark your interest, because it's like, wow, that looks really, really cool. I like the fact that it's moving. It just brings a little bit more interactivity to your website. It's just something that's really neat. So the Lottie elements there, they've got a new table element. So this is probably more for people who want to display information on their website. The table element, which is down here, allows you to do a lot of different things. Tables have been making a comeback. For a long time, they weren't making a comeback, and now they're making a comeback. But this is really cool because it's done the Brizy way. So each element that you add, when you add rows or take away rows or whatever, if you add them, they actually come in like regular columns. So if you want to, you can add anything to this you want. If you want to add a Lottie to it, guess what? I just added a Lottie to this. That's a bit ridiculous, but you could still do it. You can totally do it if you want to. And obviously you can see it doesn't fit. But the whole point is you could still do it. You can still go in here and you can add these type of elements and do whatever you want. You can add in text elements, you can add in buttons, you can add in whatever you want to these tables. So that's a really, really cool, unique feature that I think that a lot of people are missing, because tabular data is becoming more and more important to Google, and it's good to see that they're adding this in. That's going to make less people who really hate Gutenberg, and maybe they use it for like affiliate websites or something like that. That tabular data, you like to have it, and you like to have it look pretty. And if you know anything about Gutenberg's tables are absolutely atrocious. And so it's good to see that you can add in things like, you know, little icons and just things to make it look a little bit better. And they're responsive. You got to play with them a little bit. I won't say that I wish that we had a couple more options in terms of just the width than 100%. There are some issues, I believe, at mobile, you got to play with it. That's the best thing I can tell you. You got to play with it in order to get it to the correct thing. So this is something that I don't think will be a problem. I mean, you could go in and you should be looking at your stuff on mobile anyway and fix it and make sure it looks right. But it'd be nice if it dynamically resized to the correct width so it didn't do that. That's kind of ugly. But it is what it is. It's not a big deal. That's something that you can fix on the back end. They've also added working in drafts. So if you're creating a page, this is really cool. This is a feature I also think. Now, a lot of builders have draft, but the way that this works, as I understand it, and I could be completely wrong, let's test it. So we'll have this page and we will work in draft. So when you work in draft, from how I understand it, we're going to switch to draft now, okay? So we're going to make a change to this page, and we're going to delete this, okay? And we're going to save that draft. Now, when I go to look at this page, it should still have those two link buttons, if I'm not mistaken. What the working in draft allows you to do is it allows you to make changes without your... no, it actually did take and delete that page. That's strange. I thought the working in draft, I thought that what it did was it allowed you to basically essentially delete something, like say this, and you could kind of save it in a draft mode, and you can go back and your users won't see any changes to this, like to this itself, because you haven't published it yet. And then when you publish it, so you go in and make a bunch of changes. So let's see, like let's change this like red or something, and we'll say save draft, and then let's refresh this page and see if it turns it red. And if it turns it red, then yeah, I'm not sure. Then I don't know what the draft does. I'm gonna have to research that and figure out what it does. That's what I was under the assumption it did. Apparently that's not what it's doing right now. It could be because the page is published, but I thought that was the whole point. So it says long overdue, but starting today you can switch any page to draft mode, work on it without your visitors seeing the changes or incremental modifications, and just switch it to draft and take your time and work on it. When it's ready, go ahead and hit publish. So essentially it should allow you to save the draft pages without seeing it. It might be because I'm logged in. I didn't think about that. It could be because I'm logged in, and this may not necessarily be what people are seeing on the front end. This may be what I'm seeing because I'm making the incremental changes to it. They might not necessarily see it. I didn't think about that. So let's try that. No, that's still not working. Let's go to this. Let's log out of this. Let's go to home. Do I have the right address? Apparently I don't. Maybe because I didn't save. Maybe because I didn't save the... I didn't save it. And now I'm misspelling. So let's see what that page was. Let's look at that page itself. Yeah, so, it's saying it's... That's weird. So it was set to publish. Let's try that again. I want to try that again. So let's publish it. Okay, we've published it. Let's update it. Okay. We know that it's set to home, so it should be the home page. And then we want to switch it to draft. We want to change this background to purple. Okay. And then we save draft. And we go back in, we go to the dashboard, and we edit. I think when it's switching it to draft mode, it's automatically switching it to draft mode with that one page being on draft mode, because I don't think it lets you access it. Because this should be the page, and yeah, it's turning it the color. Anyway, I'll have to research that and see why that's coming up like that, but that's how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to allow you to basically make changes on the back end. Apparently, it's not doing that for some reason, but you know, it is what it is. It's experimental, and there's probably something that I'm missing or that I'm doing wrong. So save and clear layout is another thing that they've added, which I think is really cool. You can go into any page, and if I just don't like this page and I click edit with Brizy, you can go into here and you can say, boom, clear layout. And now you've got a brand new layout that you can start with without ever having to take and go back and do that. So that's something that's helpful. They've also added absolute and fixed positioning. This is useful if you're trying to create, you know, a back to, you know, like a button like they're doing right here. If you're trying to create something for maybe somebody talking to you, like your own chat button or something like that, that can also be useful for this. Fixed positioning for images, which is nice. So they've added pixels to images now, so you can kind of see what your image size is. It was something that they've added before. They didn't have, I think they just had percentages, and that was hard for people. So they wanted pixels, and they've added pixels to it, which is really neat. They've added adaptive color states to certain elements. So we've got accordion, switch, tabs, and gallery. So now you've got basically a hover, active, and normal state. If you don't know what those are, go learn a little bit more about CSS. But essentially, it just gives you some more options when it comes to the color states of your links and stuff like that. And then they kind of talk about what's coming next. And they say they have a big design update for pre-made layouts and landing pages, and the ever-important WooCommerce builder, and then they're moving to stories and funnels, which will probably come to Brizy Pro as well. Cloud exclusive stories and funnels. I wonder what the stories are. That's neat. I'm curious to see what that is. I wonder if that's something like the whole Google stories that they have that's coming out, you know? I don't know if people think that those are good or not, but it's really neat that you finally... So one of the biggest things that's been plaguing a lot of people is if you're somebody who uses Brizy Cloud, you've noticed these two have never been synced. They've, you know, Brizy Cloud has had some updates while the WordPress builder has not had the other updates, and now they kind of work together. So once again, if you're one of the people who's sitting on the fence, I think Brizy is definitely, now is the time. They only had so many licenses left, and I don't remember if it still shows it, but they've obviously covered it up with this banner. But they used to have, you know, about 400 or so unlimited lifetime licenses left. And if you have not thought about getting it, you really honestly should. I mean, Brizy's just one of those builders that's really making a name for itself in the page building community. And yeah, it's taken a little while to get there, but at the same time, yeah, so here's the licenses that are left. There's only 388 licenses left right now. After this, that's it. It's $2.99 and that's it. Of course, if you like the Brizy Cloud stuff, there is licenses for that too. So Brizy Cloud right now is doing stuff. They're doing a special, if I'm not mistaken, where you can go in and you can get it for about $99 for Brizy Cloud, which is pretty cheap, $99 a year, and there's no bandwidth restrictions, none of that, and it's all on, you know, fast servers. so you don't have to worry about that. But if you want to move it to a server, you could move your own server sync and export HTML and do all of that. $99 a year for unlimited hosts. So to me, I mean, it's a win-win either way. You can kind of choose. If you don't like cloud, you don't have to go with cloud. If you do like cloud, go with it and, you know, see what you can do, see what you can have done. I mean, I think it's really, really neat. The whole plan that they're coming up with right now, this whole $299 plan, once it's gone, I think from what I understand is it's not that it's not ever going to make a comeback. It'll make a comeback again, but it'll probably be double. So next time it'll be like probably $5.99 or something along those lines. Like it'll be close to $600. And it's going to be well worth it once they come out with more of the WooCommerce stuff and everything like that. But if you want to jump on now, you can get it early and you can get in there. All right? So I hope you guys have liked this. I've got some more Brizy content coming out in the future. I'm going to be going over building pages with Brizy and some cool, neat tricks that you can kind of do. There's been a lot of questions in the community. So stay tuned to the channel. And if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, do that. It really helps us with the algorithms. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time.